Red Bull drivers were recently in the midst of drama. Newly crowned Formula One champion Max Verstappen deliberately disobeyed Red Bull team orders to allow his teammate Sergio Perez to overtake him before the finish line at the end of the race to collect more points, and this has upset many, particularly Sergio Perez, who has come out to Verstappen for who he is and defined their relationship going forward. So what did Sergio Perez have to say about Verstappen's decision, and how did Red Bull respond to it? The last 2 years have seen Dutch driver Max Verstappen finally prove that he is one of the best drivers in Formula One history, as he has won 2 consecutive F1 titles. However, he never had to battle with his teammate extensively on his road to winning both titles, but rather with other excellent drivers on the grid like Daniel Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, and the famed 2021 all-season duel with Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton. Nonetheless, his rivalry and collisions with Lewis Hamilton frequently make headlines, and interestingly, at the 2022 Brazilian Grand Prix, both drivers were once again at odds as Verstappen collided with Hamilton earlier in the race at turn 2 after braking late, earning the Dutch driver a 5 seconds penalty. When asked about the clash, the 7-time Formula One champion implied that the 2-time Grand Prix winner can be reckless when he said, "What can I say? You know how it is with Max." Unfortunately, while many would anticipate it to be a talking point of the event, it wasn't, as there were a series of other events that grabbed headlines, particularly those involving Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. At the race, Perez fell down the grid after the safety car restart and was soon behind his nearest rival on the driver's standing, Charles Leclerc, as he was struggling on medium tyres. Fortunately for Checo, Verstappen caught up with him and passed him, and he was even guided to steal points from Alpine's Fernando Alonso in 5th and overtake Leclerc in 4th, to help Perez maintain a substantial lead over Leclerc in the Drivers' Championship. However, while the Dutch driver was being steered through, the team requested that he allow Perez back through if he did not catch Alonso, which he bluntly refused and even ordered his race engineer to never to make such a request again. "I told you already last time, don't ask that again to me. Are we clear about that? I gave my reasons and I stand by it," Verstappen said over the radio. This decision, however, cost Perez some points, and as a result, he is level on points with Charles Leclerc heading into the final race of the 2022 Formula One season at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, having lost a total of 6 points to the Ferrari driver at the race at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Regardless, after the race, Verstappen and his manager, Raymond Vermeulen, were spotted discussing what transpired with Lambiase and Red Bull team principal Christian Horner. However, when queried about what happened and what was also discussed with Horner, the 2-time world champion doubled down on his decision, saying, "I have my reasons for that. We just discussed that, and I think it was better that we finally sat together and spoke about it, and just moved forward from here. For sure, if we go to Abu Dhabi and he needs the points because they're tied, it's not the end of the world. It's all about who finishes ahead anyway. If he needs the help, I'll be there. But it's good that we talked about it now and basically cleared everything that was there why I didn't do it," Verstappen said. However, while Verstappen refused to elaborate on what occurred and what was discussed with the team boss, Horner has so far apologized to Perez and stated some pretty serious facts, in which Verstappen is a big part of it. Horner stated that the team's goal at the moment is for Checo to finish ahead of Charles Leclerc in the driver rankings, and Verstappen must assist his colleague in the following race in Abu Dhabi. "No, we work as a team, we race as a team. Our objective and priority is to see if we can get Checo to finish runner-up in the championship. It's something we've never achieved as a team before. Max has given his commitment as well, and we'll be doing the best we can in Abu Dhabi to achieve that. So it's a straight fight between Checo and Charles, and if Max can help in any way, he will do," Horner said. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko was also astonished by what happened at the Brazilian race between both drivers, but he issued a strong warning to Verstappen after he disregarded the team's instructions, emphasizing that he now had to do everything he can to support Perez in the Drivers' Championship. Red Bull's goal is to take second place in the championship with Checo, and Max must do everything he can to help him with that. That's all I want to say about it. Also, in Perez's defense, Verstappen has never had to worry about a teammate beating him on the grid since Daniel Ricciardo departed until Checo came, and so far this season, Sergio Perez has been quite impressive, winning 2 races, taking 1 pole position and hitting the podium 10 times. However, his stats may have been better this season if he was just as selfish as Verstappen. Besides, the Dutch driver would not have won the 2021 World Championship without Perez's selflessness and teamwork. At the 2021 Monaco Grand Prix, he overtakes Hamilton to 6th place, allowing Verstappen to win. Due to his position in France, he forced Hamilton not to pit, allowing Verstappen to come up and pass Hamilton to win the race. Checo took the fastest lap from Hamilton in Turkey and Brazil. At the United States Grand Prix, he forced Hamilton to pit too soon to avoid an undercut, allowing Verstappen to win. To cap it all off for the 2021 season, he holds Hamilton up for 10 seconds, forcing the British driver to skip pit stops to maintain his position, and Max Verstappen ultimately wins the race and the championship. And not to mention that at the 2022 Spanish Grand Prix, which was won by Max Verstappen, the Red Bull team ordered Perez on 2 consecutive occasions to allow Verstappen to overtake him, which he did, even though he admitted that he could have won that race. However, the one time Checo asked to overtake Verstappen to aid him in the driver's standings fell on deaf ears, as he could be heard on the radio asking the Red Bull team whether he could pass Verstappen, who had sustained damage earlier in the sprint race at the Brazilian Grand Prix. "Am I going to have his position? I need the points," Perez requested. Nonetheless, many believe that the current situation at the Milton Keynes-based team has put them in a predicament because Perez, who signed a 2-year contract extension this year, has always been a good wingman to Verstappen, and Red Bull Racing has to keep their superstar driver happy. However, despite Verstappen's claim that they had cleared the air about his decision not to let his teammate pass, and Red Bull bosses stating that their priority is for Checo to finish 2nd in the championship, Sergio Perez has since come out to remind the 2-time F1 champion that he owes both of his titles to him. "I think if Max has 2 championships, it's thanks to me. After all I've done for him, it's a bit disappointing to be honest. I have no idea. I'm really surprised. It shows who he really is," Perez says. While many are still unaware of why Verstappen ignored the team order and damaged Perez's hopes of placing 2nd in the driver's standings, there have been reports that the Dutch driver's action may have been tied to one of Sergio Perez's victory this season. 2 Dutch F1 journalists, Tom Coronel and Eric van Haren, alleged that the qualifying session at the Circuit de Monaco this season sparked Verstappen's refusal. During the qualifying session, Perez spun out on the 3rd and last lap, resulting in the red flag being displayed, thereby terminating the qualifying session early. The red flag shown denied all drivers, including Verstappen, the opportunity to improve their race, costing the Dutch driver a chance at pole position as he unavoidably started P4. Perez's actions were later revealed to be purposeful, as he told both Helmut and Horner that the crash was intentional. Regardless, the Monaco Grand Prix was 7 months ago, and Verstappen has already been declared champion for the 2022 F1 season, so if his refusal was based on the Monaco incident, the Red Bull Racing team is in for a mess that could wreck their future seasons. But regardless of how Sergio Perez feels about Max Verstappen being able to do what he wants to his teammates' detriment, the truth remains that he is the lead driver, and with no signs of deterioration in his performance, he will remain so for a very long time, and would inevitably become not only the best on the grid, but also the highest paid in no time. Given that he is presently the 2nd highest paid Formula 1 driver, you may be wondering how he spends his huge salary almost every day, whether it's on private planes or on the gaming setups that have pushed him to the top of the grid. There's so much to learn about how Verstappen and his fellow drivers on the grid spend their millions. And I know you're curious about the ridiculously expensive items F1 drivers buy that they don't talk about, so just click the video right here.